Hello and welcome back or welcome to the Riley Brakefield Show. I am your host, the one, the only, the true Riley Brakefield. It's a podcast where we talk about mostly college sports, pro sports. Sometimes we get into politics, sometimes we get into pedophiles, sometimes we just do a little bit of everything. It's whatever comes to my medium size, dumb slash smart brain. That's what we talk about. Speaking of pedophiles, nothing new on Jeffrey Epstein. Still no list. I looked again today. Still nothing. So kind of disappointing, but whatever. Well, it'll get figured out. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can listen to this podcast on any platform. Also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, any of those. That works great. I like to post on Twitter, not as much TikTok and Instagram. I'm just a Twitter whore. That's just how it be out here. But today's show, we're gonna be talking, a little bit of news. Obviously, hit top five, one love, one hate. A couple big time college basketball games this weekend, and then kind of like a NBA playoff picture, playoff push kind of thing. Just talking about where things stand right now, who's gonna get in, who to watch out for, MVP race, stuff like that. But well, let's get into it. Some big drama the past couple days has been Brandon Miller possibly being involved with the shooting at Alabama that killed the young woman a couple weeks prior. There was reports saying that he provided the gun. It was his gun, but then there was also text saying that he was aware that the gun was in the vehicle. Lawyer made a statement today saying he had no knowledge of it whatsoever. Just kind of weird, confusing. You hope for the young man's sake that he isn't. But we'll have to see how the whole situation plays out from there. Just interesting little thing, man. It's just weird getting multiple reports. Then the lawyer letting the thing out today. It gets a little confusing. You wonder what actually happened, stuff like that. But hopefully it all gets sorted out and the right thing. If he was involved, if he knew, then yeah, he definitely deserves to be suspended, possible, whatever. Doesn't seem like it's that serious, but we'll just, who knows. Who knows what's going to happen, and then head coach Nate Oates caught some fire because, his comment was wrong place, wrong time. Some people didn't agree with it. I thought it was quite stupid because, the first report I read, it's pretty much sounded like he provided the gun. That's why I was very confused about the situation. So, but obviously it seems like he might not have, so we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But one thing's going on at Alabama over here at LSU. League Neighbors was arrested on possession of a firearm over the weekend, but apparently he's down in New Orleans. He's not facing any charges though, so that's good for LSU because if he would have got a suspension or something, they would have been fucked because he's a talented receiver. That's all I gotta say. But the NBA trade deadline, didn't go so well for Russell Westbrook, but he did find himself a new home, sticking in LA. Going to be playing for the Clippers now. I actually like that trio that could create of Russell, Paul George, and Kawhi. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I definitely think it's going to be a fun little trio to watch going down the stretch here. Really, a whole lot of NFL stuff's been going on. Nothing too big in the political world or anything else I've been paying attention to. But by far, the saddest news of the day has to be the boy, Taylor Lewan, left tackle for the Titans, was released today. He'd been there ever since he was drafted. I think it was 9 years he had been a Titan. He's part of their rebuild, basically, and he had multiple good press conferences. You'll have to, if you follow him on Twitter, if you don't, go check him out. He posted a thank you video. It was pretty cool. He's always been a loudmouth, always protected the quarterback. But he hosts the Bustin' with the Boys podcast with Will Compton. They met playing on the Titans together. But I definitely think he's still got the capability to be, a top tier left tackle in the league. He's dealt with a couple injuries the past couple years. That's why he got released. So it'll be interesting to see where he lands. If he continues to want to play football as well, who knows? He might just do the whole podcast thing, him and Will. They've found a lot of success, but I do think Taylor still has some left in the tank, and getting hurt again this year, I think he wants one last redemption shot at it all. So we'll see. Just excited to see where he's gonna land at because he can definitely be very vital to a team looking for a left tackle or even maybe. I think he'd want to stay at left tackle, but yeah. So we'll see. See where he lands. And rumors, by far one of the funnest rumors I saw the past couple of days is Jalen Ramsey, Detroit trade. Apparently Jalen Ramsey is on the trade market. I did not realize that the Rams were looking to get rid of him. Makes me wonder, if they're going to do a rebuild, what kind of the deal is there because, losing him, I know they're paying him a lot of money, but losing him does kind of hamper the secondary, I would think, in a sense. So interesting. Just apparently the rumors swirling. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown tweeted out telling him that he should try to get his way to Detroit. And then Jalen Ramsey also followed it up with another tweet where he was kind of alluding that maybe it was a possibility. So who knows? But that'd be fun. I think Detroit could definitely use a boost on defense. I mean, they were very close making the playoffs this year. Getting a top tier guy like that in the secondary could definitely benefit them massively. So. And Eric Bieniemy is now the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. A lot of talk about that. We talked about it a little bit last week. About why he is a head coach, why he isn't. Stuff like that. Or why he should be, I should say. So it's really interesting here. A lot of people are wondering if he really has it. If he kills it this next year, he's going to get a head coaching job right away. He's going to be everybody's top candidate. So everyone just really wants to see, I feel like, if he is legit, if he is everything he's cracked up to be. The rumors, all that. Shady McCoy came out saying that he doesn't see it and stuff like that. And Jamal Charles followed it up with, one of the best coaches he ever has, one of the best minds he's ever been around, deserves to be a head coach. So it's very interesting to see how this is all playing out. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of pressure on Bieniemy. I hope he doesn't put too much pressure on himself to excel, because everyone's like, oh, you have the crowd that's saying, oh yeah, he's good, he deserves it, and you have the crowd that's like, oh no, he hasn't, he's been under Andy Reid. So it's just gonna be a fun year for the Commanders. And I mean, if it really is a Bieniemy thing, Sam Howell should have a great year. There's been talk that he could be, but there's possibility. On Pardon My Take earlier today, I heard PFT commenter put together a wild fucking conspiracy theory about the reason he took the job is for Lamar Jackson's going to be coming to the Commanders. So who knows? There could be multiple reasons. Maybe even that is a possibility. Who knows? But it's just going to be an exciting year for the Commanders if it works out. Exciting year for Bieniemy to finally, I guess, prove it to everyone, or the haters are going to be right. So it should play out cool. It's going to be a big storyline all of next season. The Jets, they also met with Derek Carr over the weekend. They told him, or earlier this week, I believe, actually, sorry. They told him that if he came to New York and he won a Super Bowl, he would go be in first ballot Hall of Famer. Kind of risky. It's like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, maybe, oh yeah, but no, not really. When you look at his stats the past couple of years, Warren Sharp tweeted it out, and I was like, yeah, that proves the point that he definitely probably shouldn't be there. They're not terrible, but there's only 2 winning seasons. One of the winning seasons he got hurt, wasn't able to even play in the playoffs. So I mean, Derek Carr definitely has potential, but I think he'd have to have a late turnaround here in his career. Lots of success down the stretch in order to kind of put that into a true statement, I guess. Last bit of NBA news: Myers Leonard was basically suspended from the NBA. I don't know if he was suspended or just released. He used a anti-Jewish slur on a video game stream a couple of years back now, I believe. But he signed a 10-day contract with the Bucks. Get another shot in the league, kind of righting his wrongs. I was kind of surprised. I thought for sure he'd end up with the Mavericks. Him and Kyrie kind of just could work that whole anti-Jewish angle together, all work in harmony, but didn't work out that way. But good for him to be able to be back in the league. One little mistake, at least hopefully he learned from it. He knows better now and righted his wrongs and gets that opportunity to do what he was doing before. So it's a good little redemption story. As long as he's learned from his mistake, that's all that matters, right? Now for this week's top 5. My top 5 this week is my top 5 all-time favorite artists. Just the ones that I just prefer to listen to all the time. I can listen to no matter what kind of mood I am. Just my all-time favorites. My number one, this is a wide range. I'm probably gonna get a little bit of hate for it, but my number one personally is Mac Miller. I've always loved Mac Miller since I was 14 or 15. Love all of his albums. It really sucks that he died, but by far probably my favorite artist in general, because I just love to listen to his rap songs. I love to listen to his love songs, stuff like that, especially the love songs. Smoking a joint and listening to him with my wife the other night, it was nothing like it. The day that he died was probably one of the saddest days of my life, and of course it was a drug overdose, and I could have done as much coke that night to kill Mac Miller twice, but who knows. It's just a sad little ordeal, but by far easy my number one all-time favorite artist. Number two, the band Nickelback, dude. I'm sorry. I think Nickelback is by far some of the best music ever created. I can listen to any of their songs and I can just be in a fucking great mood. I don't understand why people hate Nickelback. It actually really bothers me. I wanted to go see them on tour, but they're nowhere close to me. So, and I'm poor, so I can't go travel to it. But I just love Nickelback. It's just how it is, I guess. I don't know. Number three, Drake. Big fan of Drake. I've always liked Drake. I've always enjoyed his rap songs. They always hype me up. They're like basically what I listen to every time I go to the gym is just pretty much Drake songs and Nickelback songs. Really, that's all I ever listen to, and other ones that pump me up here and there. But that's about the extent of my gym playlist. Number four, throwing in Eminem as well. Throw him into the gym mix as well. He's just one of my all time. He's a white boy. He gave a white boy like me hope that someday I could be a rapper. I never pursued it. I enjoy rap music, but I never thought that I could. But great actor as well. 8 Mile, beautiful movie. Just hands down, I've always enjoyed Eminem. Every album I've always found at least 5 or 6 songs that are by far my favorite songs. So easy being my top 5. And my 5th has to be Fleetwood Mac. I love Fleetwood Mac, man. Something about Fleetwood Mac, they just put me in the right mood, dude. Best music to smoke a joint to. They're always, and just hands down, easy. That's my top 5 favorite artists of all time, in my opinion. I'm just telling you who I am as a person. Nothing else, nothing less. Okay. One love, one hate. This week I'm loving on sandwiches. There is nothing like a sandwich, man. You can make a sandwich at home. It's fucking delicious. You can go get a sandwich. It's fucking delicious. You can get a sandwich from a sandwich shop. Delicious. You can get it from some random deli. You can get it from a restaurant. You can get it at the hospital. You can get it at the coffee shop. You can get a sandwich anywhere, and it's always fucking delicious. It's always a sandwich, dude. They're always there when you need them. If you're like, oh, I don't know what else to eat, eat a sandwich. Perfect. You just got done as a little kid outside playing the pool, eat a sandwich. A hard day of yard work, a sandwich. Out working, going to your 9 to 5 job, working your construction job. What are you having for lunch? A sandwich. And it's always fucking good. There's just nothing like a sandwich. Can't go wrong. You just can't. And this week, I am hating on what to watch once football season is over. There's a lot of college basketball, obviously, the NBA. I have a hard time consistently watching college basketball or the NBA like every single night. I catch games here and there, check box scores, kind of check Twitter, see what people are saying about them, but I can't sit around and watch like a bunch of basketball games, especially when they don't always matter. So for me, and it's like, what else do you watch once football's over, especially on the weekends? Like, throughout the week, you have TV shows, you might watch a football game here and there, yada, 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 whatever. But like on the weekends and you're not doing anything, or it's nighttime, you're like, what do we watch now? It's just horrible. So I just hate when football's over what to watch on TV. Now we'll move to a little bit of college basketball talk. A couple games I'm looking at this weekend. Got a big one actually tomorrow. Northwestern moved into the top 25. They're going down to Illinois. Obviously had the big upset against Purdue sometime last week, or I can't remember, sometime last week. That was a huge upset for them. They've actually been playing really good. I had no idea that Northwestern was actually this good this year. They have a guard by the name of Bowie, I think is how you say it. Buie. I don't know. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But that should be a fun one. Illinois is a team kind of sitting in that bubble range area. They have a lot of talent. Could make a deep run. They're definitely a team to watch. So if Northwestern can take them down, Northwestern can be a legit, possible tournament team this year. And then you get to Saturday. As usual, Saturday is always got a loaded slate of fun games. TCU going down to Texas Tech. Texas Tech is unreal at home this year. That's where they've won a majority of their games. When they've been on the road, they've struggled a lot. I think Mike Miles is back now for TCU. I know he was hurt. If they don't have him, they're definitely going to lose this one, especially the way Texas Tech plays defense. They're, one of the better teams in the country in defense. That's just kind of been their staple the past couple of years. So should be a really fun one, both these teams. Texas Tech desperately needs this win to keep themselves in the conversation for the tournament. TCU just kind of really is going to need it to kind of hang around in that top 25, hopefully get the top 4 seed, top 6 seed, something like that. Arkansas, Alabama, going down on Saturday. Razorbacks are kind of picking themselves up off the mat. They had a bad losing streak there for a little bit. Now they've won a couple games, kind of getting themselves back to normal. Bama, obviously, with the whole scandal and stuff going on, all that hoo-ha, all that stuff. So should be a pretty good game no matter what. Arkansas, like I said, trying to get back on track. I could see them pulling the upset, if Alabama gets lazy. I know they're playing tonight as well, so we'll just have to, that should be a fun one to watch. Hands down, probably biggest game of the weekend has to be Texas versus Baylor. Texas ranked 8th, Baylor ranked 9th. Both these teams are at the top, the top of the standings in the Big 12. Both of them fighting to hopefully get a top 2 seed. Hopefully, as of right now, if you look at it, just going based off rankings, you think Texas get a 2, Baylor would get a 3. Seeding doesn't matter too much. It gives you an easier opponent the higher you're ranked, obviously, and stuff like that. But in terms of the metrics and whatnot, but should be a really fun one. Both these teams can score. Both are decent on defense, so should be a really fun game to watch. I think the over in that one's probably going to hit. I'm feeling like a lot of points when I look at it. 140 seems about right to me. I would think if it's anything over that, it'd be a little risky. At 135 would be like the sweet spot. I would feel like that's a good number for that one. And then Virginia going down to Chapel Hill on Saturday to take down North Carolina. Who am I kidding? The Tar Heels are struggling right now. A big win against Virginia would really help their chances into getting in the tournament. Otherwise, they're really going to have to wreak some havoc in the ACC tournament, or else they are not getting in. And I think that'll probably be one of the first times a number one team then the preseason number one team didn't make the tournament. I would feel like that'd probably be the first time. If that happens, it'd be crazy. Hopefully they get their shit figured out, because they need it, and I want them in the tournament, because I still feel like they could win that thing somehow, but who knows. Indiana, Purdue, big rematch for Purdue here. They got Indiana coming to them this time. Obviously, Indiana upset them a couple weeks back, finally taking them out of that number one spot. So should be a fun game. Good atmosphere down there in Purdue. I feel like Purdue will come out on top on that one for sure. I don't know spread wise. I would feel like 3 would probably be the best bet. Anything more than that would be too risky. I feel like it's going to be a really close game. Then a big one out on late night on the Western Coastal Conference. St. Mary's versus Gonzaga. St. Mary's ranked 15th in the country. Gonzaga 12th right now. Gales are in first place in the conference standing. So if Gonzaga wants the 1 seed for the tournament, they're going to have to beat St. Mary's. It would be an upset in terms of conference, I guess. So really big game for both of those teams. Really, St. Mary's is a really good team this year, so they're definitely a team to watch out for. And Gonzaga, still really good, but just not as good as the years past. So should be a really fun one. Might try to stay up and watch that one, because I haven't watched either of these teams yet this year. I don't know what I'll bet. I'll live tweet it before. I'll do some deep diving. Then Tuesday, turn around, couple big games. Clemson and Virginia. Virginia might be coming off a win against North Carolina, or a loss. With Clemson coming to town, Clemson really is going to need a win here. Kind of falling out of that bubble a little bit. They're still in there, I believe, but they're definitely going to need a big win against Virginia. Would definitely probably secure them a spot in the tournament, I would think. And then another big one, Arkansas, Tennessee. Tennessee, I think they're playing South Carolina this weekend. Possible upset. They've lost 2 in a row. I would be surprised if they lost, though. They are at home. I know that doesn't matter since they've been losing at home. Or no, they lost on the road, I believe. Yeah, they lost on the road. I don't know. But Tennessee, hopefully they're coming in with a win. But if they're not, this would be a really good spot for Arkansas to take advantage. Arkansas, I think, really needs to win one of these 2 games against Alabama or Tennessee. If they don't, it's probably really going to start pushing them farther back into that bubble. So they're really, really going to need one of these games to hit for them. And I feel like Tennessee might be the spot depending on how they play against South Carolina. Wednesday, couple good games. Xavier, Providence should be a really good one. Solly Baum and Bryce Hopkins, both of those guys can score. For Xavier and Providence, equally, or whatever the fuck the word was supposed to be right there. Should be a really fun matchup. I expect a lot of points in that one. I feel like the over is probably going to be really high, though, probably somewhere around like 150 even. So I probably would still even take it. I just feel like it's going to be an explosion of points. And then we have the second installment of the Iron Bowl basketball game, I guess. I don't know what they call it. Auburn are going down to Bama this time. I bet Bama takes care of them pretty easily. Auburn's slipping really bad right now, and I don't really know if they're going to be able to get up off the mat playing a tough team like Bama. Then the last one that really matters, leading up before I record next time, Texas, TCU. Texas, big game against Baylor, got to travel to them. It's only in the state of Texas. Then they got to travel to TCU Wednesday night. It could be a really bad spot for TCU if they lose to Texas Tech and then lose to Texas. I'd still expect them to stay in the tournament, but also, they win this week against Texas Tech and then pull off a big win against Texas would really push them up higher in conference standings as well as push them higher up in possible seeding locations. So that's all for college basketball, though. It should be a fun week of games, I guess you got to say. Currently, I am watching the UConn-Providence game. Providence is looking really good. So is UConn, though. It's been a lot of turnovers, though. Holy cow, UConn's lost the ball a lot. But anyways, now to a little bit of NBA playoff push talk here. I guess I don't know what I'm calling it necessarily. Just kind of, I don't know too much about the NBA. I haven't really been paying too much attention. Just kind of diving in right now, kind of finding something to talk about, without football because I'm a worthless piece of shit like that, I guess. So, but nonetheless, the Celtics are sitting up top in the East right now. The East is pretty much a 3-team race. Well, I could say 4, I guess. A lot of media outlets, you have the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, and Cavs are kind of leading the charge. Both are, let's go with Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, Cavs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of them are playing really good basketball right now, from what I can tell. Well, all these teams have really good dynamic duos and really good players around them as a whole. So really, it's a 4-team race with those guys out East. I think to really win the conference. I'm stumbling over my words here, but you do have to watch out for a team like the Heat. They're sitting back at the 7th spot right now. Tons of talent on that team. With Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. They have a lot of good shooters, a lot of good role players on that team as well. They're definitely a team you probably want to try to avoid in the first round. Definitely would tire you out, And they're in the 5 and 6. You have the 2 New York teams. You got Brooklyn sitting at 5. I really don't know how much of a threat they are. Nick Claxton's been playing really good. Cam Thomas has been playing really good. He had a couple good games there for a little bit. But I really don't think of them as much of a threat to really win a first-round matchup. The Knicks, the same thing. I just don't think the Knicks would have the firepower to match up with any of those 4 teams. The Heat are the only ones to me that I see really having a legit chance at them. Then you look at the 3 other play-in teams with the Heat right now. It's the Hawks, the Wizards, and the Raptors. I do look at the Hawks as a dangerous team. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, John Collins. They have a good, and Clint Capella. There's just a lot of talent on that team as well. They have a lot of good shooters like Kevin Huerter as well. So they're definitely a team. Oh no, sorry, he's with the Kings now. Yeah, never mind. I was thinking of Bogdanovich. But they have a good team there that did upset the Sixers at one point, so they're definitely a team that could be scary to watch out for. Wizards, there's a little bit there. I don't ever expect too much from the Wizards. The Raptors, I never know with Pascal Siakam. I remember when he was taken off in the finals. I always think that he can still do that. So definitely a team to watch out in my opinion. The Bulls, they're sitting on the outside looking in at 11. I could see them sneaking in. Pacers, they got some talent. Magic, if they got on a run, they're young, but they do have some talented players. Then I think they could possibly contend to sneak in there, but not really. And then you finish out with the Hornets and Pistons. Those two, they're pretty much done for. You can pretty much lock them out of the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. But that's just a little Eastern Conference. Western Conference is pretty much, in my opinion, just based off of looking at the standings. The Nuggets are pretty firmly in first place at the point they have, I think it was a 5.5 game lead on the Grizzlies. But I feel like the Nuggets, the Grizzlies are a really good team. I do think John and Jaren Jackson Jr. do make a really good duo. So I can't say that I'd count them out, but really to me, the Nuggets are the number 1 team in the West right now. The only team I see really jumping up and taking that from them is probably the Clippers right now. With the addition of Russell Westbrook, the way that he plays, the physicality that he plays, I think that adds another dynamic that they can really use. 3 guys that can score. I don't care what anyone says about Russ. Yes, he has his bad nights, but he can score. And when he's not scoring, he's passing the ball and he's allowing others to score. So I think he's going to fit in well with Paul George and Kawhi. And, we haven't seen Kawhi in the playoffs for a couple of years now, but I think, we could possibly get him back this year to that dynamic force that he was in 2019 with the Raptors. So to me, really got to watch out for the Clippers. Sitting at the 4 seed right now, it's a pretty tight race out west, so they could get up. They're only 2 to 4 games back to to the Grizzlies at the 2. You have the Kings sitting in the 3, who have been really good this year with Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. So they're definitely a team to watch out for. And I mean, they could make some noise. But then again, you have to look at the 5 seed, the Suns, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton. Like, there's a ton of talent there. They could get hot, get a higher seed as well. Could make a lot of noise in the playoffs. I mean, it's Kevin Durant. He's done it before. He's got a ton of talent around him, like he did with Golden State, and he can take over and lead a team. I know. I don't care what anyone says. I know that he can do that, and he will do that. And then right behind him at the 6th seed, you got Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic. They're gonna at some point they're gonna gel, and they're tough out in the playoffs. That's not a team that I would want to go up against. That's for damn sure. And then you get to the Pelicans, Timberwolves, Warriors, and Thunder sitting in the play-in. I don't feel like the Thunder are really going to get in there. I feel like they can't contend with the Warriors, the Timberwolves, or the Pelicans really. Well, not the Warriors. I don't think they could beat the Warriors. The Timberwolves or Pelicans, maybe. I could see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander taking over possibly and winning a game like that. But Warriors are definitely scary. You don't want to have to go up against them. I mean, they did win the chip last year. So they're definitely always going to be a threat no matter what seed they're at when they have the shooting capabilities that they do. And then the Pelicans, Pelicans started out hot. They've kind of been dipping, but I definitely think the Pelicans are a team that could win a first-round matchup. And same with the Timberwolves. I mean, they do have a good young core, and Rudy Gobert can be an elite defender. So, I mean, the West 1 through 10 is really tough. I think the Nuggets are probably the one team I can guarantee win their first-round matchup. Outside of that, I don't really know. Jazz are kind of pushing. Jazz, Trailblazers, and Lakers are fighting. They're all about 1 to 2 games back of that 10 spot with the Thunder right now. Obviously, for the Lakers, it's like they're doing all this stuff, and they put all this money into LeBron and Anthony Davis, and they're still not winning games. They made more trades. They picked up D'Angelo Russell, now it's supposed to be a big 3, so really tough for them if this doesn't work out. They're going to have to really reevaluate what they want to do as a franchise, in my opinion. Like I said, I think they got to stop trading and stop signing new people. I think they got to try to stick to some type of core and make that work somehow. Trailblazers definitely a team that if they get in the tournament or the playoffs as well, they're definitely scary with Damian Lillard and what he can do. His elite, the way that he's able to score the ball. So definitely the team to watch out for right there as well. The Jazz, I'm not too concerned about it, whether they get in or not. And then the Spurs, Rockets, they suck. They're already rebuilding for next year. So right now the MVP race, it seems like it's pretty much down to Jokic winning his 3rd one in a row. It's what all the metrics are saying. So I don't really know why I said I'd talk MVP talk. Pretty much everyone's saying he's going to win his 3rd one unless he gets injured or something crazy happens down the stretch here. But who knows? But that's today's show. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you sticking around. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful next week. Whatever else kind words I can say. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, send to your friends, send to an NBA friend of yours, and see if I did good enough for them or if I'm just talking out of my ass, which I always am. So, but for now, your boy Titties is out.